FCC knows. Welcome everyone, welcome to all the new subscribers, and welcome to those who are just starting off. If you are new here, please do subscribe to our channel. We do have some great stuff for you today. We're going to be talking about New Year's resolutions and how to make sure that they are effective for us this year. I know that either you have set New Year's resolutions before and then either you continue it or you notice that you kind of fall off, or you know someone else who has set some goals or some New Year's resolutions. So we want to give you some good tips on being able to make sure that this year you complete those. So if you are interested, please stick around.
I think that Joanna was just telling us something.
So this past Monday was National Quitters Day for your New Year's resolutions. So if you set them, that's usually the day that people start to fall off and break them. And break those New Year's resolutions. So we're just going to be talking about what that means for people.
So before we started the video too, I actually found some statistics. So since we're still in January, but this is going to air like February. Yes. So when we say last Monday, that's
going to be I think the 21st.
The 21st.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So according to Finder.com, on December 27th of 2019, there was an estimated 164 million Americans, which is 64.6% of the population, that said that they were setting New Year's resolutions or already had them planned out. The top 5 categories were for health, money, self-improvement, love, and career. And then there was a big portion that said, it was like 39% or something, that just said they didn't set them or whatever. And some of the top reasons that people don't commit or complete resolutions are willpower, or lack of willpower, so the lack of motivation and just not following through, I guess. And then forgetting, which was under the gender for women. They said most women are the ones that said that they would forget what they were. So I don't know where they got the statistics from, but and then there's the other one was lazy. So I think that they said more men were just saying, it kind of went with the willpower, like you just become lazy. So anyway, so those are the statistics that I found. And so what do y'all think that making resolutions are actually helpful or harmful?
I think it depends. I do feel like it's good to set goals for yourself periodically throughout life so that you can make sure that you're continuing to move towards whatever's happy for you. I do believe, true enough, if your goals aren't realistic, because you may want something to occur, but there may be a time space that has to occur, then it sets you up, I feel, for failure. Because if you set the expectation all the way up here, but you got to hit 1, 2, and 3 first, you kind of feel like, dang, there's no way for me to get up there, so I'm just not going to do it. So when it comes to the forgetting of the willpower, I feel like it more so comes from, have we really set realistic short-term goals to be able to ultimately complete our year-long goal? So I think they can be helpful, but I do think there's aspects that can be harmful.
Yeah, I feel like they're helpful. Again, piggybacking off what you said, as long as they're realistic and healthy. Just speaking from my personal experience, they are definitely helpful, and the forgetting them is something that I struggle with. So what I do is, like, I go along with all the statistics. I have health ones, I have career, and then I have personal development. And so I post them though. Like, I post them. I have one posted right over there that I look at every single day, and then I also post them in my home, and so that helps. Like, I look at it all the time, so that I'm not forgetting, and so that's really, really helpful. But ultimately, I did this last year too, and I actually hit some of my goals, and I realized where I was, really making unrealistic goals for myself, and so I had to backtrack a little bit and feel okay with that, and not feel like a failure because of that, but just that, I had to rewrite some things, and that's okay.
Right. And I think that's what, I'm glad you said that, because it was perfect for what I was thinking. When you say I had to rewrite them and that's okay, I think that's where, like, I agree that resolutions are beneficial and they can be helpful. But when we talk about a little bit in a few minutes about how to make them helpful, but that part is saying that and it's okay, I think we'll put so much pressure on ourselves that we're just like, oh, this has to happen and I'm gonna lose 80 pounds by the end of the year, and is that really you know, and then you know, you start going to the gym and you're like going hard, and so then what is it that the 21st comes and you're just like
3 weeks later
something happened and something happening, but you start making excuses, and it's okay because you don't have to just like give up. You can start tomorrow again. You know what? I can just start over in March. But I think we don't allow ourselves that grace of just being able to say it's okay if we don't complete them. And I think that that's where that mentality of where it's just like, we're gonna quit, and why we have a National Critters Day.
Yeah, my friend, she has this phrase that she says, and I love it, because it really just takes a different spin on the perspective. So we usually think in all or nothing, and she says all or something, and I love that because it creates that grace and that margin for yourself to be able to reassess and rewrite what's happening. So I try to keep my goals pretty general sometimes. Like for the health goals, I have that I want to make a more healthy rhythm. So when I'm leaving work at 7 o'clock and I'm tired and I don't want to do it, because I've been looking at my goals all day, number one, I can remember, okay, but I want to choose a more healthy rhythm. And so sometimes being specific is helpful, and then sometimes it's more about like, what do you want your motto to be for certain topics or certain categories throughout the year for you.
So let's talk about that real quick. The SMART goals is what, because even in counseling, that's what we have to make with our clients. We come up with goals that are what we consider SMART. And it's an acronym meaning specific, measurable, attainable or achievable, I've heard, realistic and relevant, I've heard, and then time bound. So whenever you're doing it, that's kind of like, instead of just saying, I'm going to lose 80 pounds by March, okay, that's not safe for one. You know, so let's just talk about that a little bit more about being specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound.
Right. I think in even using the example you were just talking about with the 80 pounds, and I feel like piggybacking off of what you said your friend had as her mantra. It's an idea where that 80 pounds could instead become an idea where if you make it more, you know, achievable. Okay, I am in more of a healthy rhythm now. I'm eating different foods. I am trying to exercise at least 1 or 2 times out of the week. You know, so you get a chance to still see some progression, even though you might not reach the 80 pounds by the date that you have. You get to see I am setting up a rhythm for me that hopefully once I actually continue to do this, I'll reach some level of achievement with the number. So we don't have to concentrate maybe with weight on the number, but instead on how are we setting up healthy rhythms like you were putting. So so I think that could be a way to also make it more achievable, to also make it more realistic, because you can see that along the way that you're making healthy changes as opposed to what the scale may say immediately when you get on it. So, just using that example that you were talking about.
I think the time one is really relevant as well. That's what I learned last year. I had a lot of professional goals that took a lot of time, and I didn't account for how much time each of those goals would actually take in order for me to do them well. So it was really hard for me to like cross off and cancel a few of the trainings that I had. But I realized that, you know, I really hadn't managed that time aspect well. So looking at your goals and what's a reasonable amount of time, and then again, just being willing to work with yourself if for some reason that time frame doesn't work out, then you know you can always rearrange that if you need to.
I'm gonna talk real quick about the realistic and being relevant. If it's like, it sounds like a great thing, since we're using like the 80 pounds, it sounds like a great thing and it's really what I want to do, but we do have to keep in those like the time. So don't give yourself that short amount of time. That's unrealistic for you. It's not healthy to lose 80 pounds in 3 months. Like, scientifically, it's not healthy, because it creates other stuff. But it's just not healthy. So that's not realistic in that way. But it's still realistic to lose 80 pounds by December, you know. So incorporate all of that into it. And then another thing that I found helpful too is when we're just like making a whole list, like you're saying, and then not thinking about the time. So that makes stuff be unrealistic, because you have maybe a family, a job, health problems that prevent you or limit you from reaching the goal that you might have set. That's just outrageous. But also, kind of, we make a list, and it's like you look and you're like, oh, there's 20 things on here, and then you're making yourself bound to that. But if you kind of maybe shorten it up a little bit and just maybe like 3 to 5 goals or something like that, and then you can work on those. And you have kind of like, when you think about it, because I was doing this, because at my church we're actually making vision boards, and I started making my goals, and then I was like, oh wait, here's a sub goal of that goal, you know. And then at the end of it, I had like 20 things really. So I was like, let me shorten this up, because some of them kind of fall into other categories, like if spiritually or with my travel or something like that, if that will include relationship goals with my husband, that we're spending more time together, and instead of me having all these separate ones for each of my categories. So I just think that maybe shortening them up and then giving yourself a realistic time to make that happen and have the proper resources, and not limit yourself in that way. And then maybe start on some new ones, and then when you can see them, like how Joanna says that she posts them around, that's a fantastic thing to do, because it reminds you so you don't forget. But it also, you can see that progress too, that you're like, oh, I need to do that, whatever it is, and it'll be kind of like a affirmation or something for yourself, a mantra. So I think that's about it, y'all. Y'all got anything else to add? I think that wraps it.
Yeah, I think just in closing, to have an understanding that the goals that you set at the beginning of the year, we fall into the trap of being a better you, and accepting that actually maybe it's okay to be who you are, but that there are areas of your life that you want to be healthier, and that's actually sustainable. And so it's not all about just being the best version of yourself or a better you,
right?
But really getting to know yourself better. Yeah.
And the last thing I like to say is, I don't know, I picked this shirt out today for some reason. It says, you are stronger than you think. Don't try to look at it because all my stuff. But it says, you are stronger than you think. So I think that kind of ties into what you are stronger, and you're okay to start over.
Yeah, we all have the right to start somewhere.
Yes. Yeah. So if this video is helpful for you, please share it with others. Give us a like. Comment about what your New Year's resolution is. We'll see you next time. Don't forget to
like,
comment, and subscribe. Hit that button, y'all, so you can get notifications. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Bye.